Hi, and welcome to the first talking episode of The Knitter's Closet. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Melissa. You can find me on Ravelry as darwinkity and on Instagram as melissakplans. Thank you for joining me for the first podcast, and I apologize if it's a little, wibbly wobbly. It's my first one, so I'll be referencing my show notes kind of often. So, welcome. A little bit about me. I am 38 years old. Yeah, 38. I am a mother to a very rambunctious 4-year-old. And I've been knitting for about 10 years. My husband and I are celebrating our 10-year anniversary in December, and that's about the same time as my knitting anniversary. I picked it up in order to learn how, in order to give myself something to do other than smoking. So my 10-year of no smoking anniversary is also coming up, for which I'm very proud. And as you can tell, it is a much healthier habit, but definitely not a more, not a cheaper habit. So talking episodes won't happen as often as the slow episodes. The slow episodes are basically just a way for you to zen out and escape from the world for a few minutes and just watch somebody else knit and knit along with me or not, or whatever. It's kind of meditative, and that's the point of it. However, I do want to come and share my FOs and my whips and all that fun stuff with you guys too. So I will be doing a talking episode. I'm going to aim for probably once a month. Hopefully, my goal is eventually to do slow knitting once a week and talking every 2 weeks. So that's the plan. Right now, my goal is once a month because, as I said, I am busy mom to a 4-year-old. And I also work full-time as an administrative assistant and part-time as a virtual administrative assistant. And, yeah, and I'm a wife too, so my hands are always busy. Again, you can find me on Ravelry as darwinkity and on Instagram as melissakplans. I do not have a Ravelry group yet because as of right now, I think I have 2 subscribers. So we don't want to get too ahead of myself by starting a Ravelry group just yet. So that'll come. Not only do I knit, but as you can see, I have a sewing machine. I also, my serger's here, so I sew. I do crochet every once in a while, very little bit. I also make miniature little houses and whatnot, and occasionally bead. So the reason this podcast is called The Knitter's Closet is because I am actually in a closet. You can't see too much behind me, and one day I'll give a tour, but right now it's super messy. I turned my master bedroom closet, which is a full-size walk-in closet, into my crafting haven. My townhome that my husband and daughter and I live in is 3 stories, so 2 sets of stairs. And the bedrooms are all the way up on the top floor, and the laundry room is oh so conveniently located all the way down in the basement. So I have converted my laundry room / utility room into our master closet. So all of our clothes are up there, and now all of my daughter's clothes still stay up here in her room, but all of our clothes, with the exception of underwear and pajamas and whatnot, went downstairs because they were always down there anyway, because I never managed to bring laundry up once it was washed because it's, again, 2 flights of stairs, and I have 10-foot tall ceilings, so the flights of stairs were even longer. So with an empty closet, I decided to throw all of my yarn in here. These 2 bins are full of yarn. Underneath, with the exception of this, which is my knitting books and patterns and whatnot, is also full of yarn. There's a shelf in front of me that you can't see that's full of yarn, and the shelves above my head are full of fabric. And I stuck a little corner desk in there. This is usually what you see me knitting on the slow channels. And this is my little home. And I put some little polka dot. You can see a couple little polka dots in the corner. Up on one wall, I put some polka dots. It makes me happy. Little rainbow polka dots. So let's see. Let's get into the knitting, because right now all I have for you is knitting. I will start with the FOs because I only have 2 right now. I actually have recently discovered that I am not a shawl knitter. I hate shawls. I don't wear them. Props to people who can wear them and make them look good and knit them beautifully, but it's just not for me. And I very much enjoy the process of knitting, but I'm also a product knitter. I love the end result and the product at the end. So I usually end up giving away my products. So socks, and I knit for other people, and I don't end up knitting for myself very often. And what I was doing was knitting lots and lots of shawls for myself and then never wearing them. So I decided that I had to find something that I wanted to knit for myself and wear. And I did. Oh, excuse me. And I did. I knit for the very first time, and other than kid sweaters, I knit myself a sweater. This is the sugar maple leaf pattern, and I cannot remember the name of the designer at the moment, and I don't think I have it handy. It is the sugar maple leaf design. It's a little faded sweater with caplet sleeves, and the original designer did her design in yarn that fades automatically. I bought a kit of yarn from Dream & Colors Smooshy that had 4 different colors of this beautiful, beautiful blue single ply yarn. And one of my good friends will tell you that I never ever knit with single ply. I usually avoid it like the plague, and that was because prior to knitting my first sweater, I only ever really knit socks, and single ply is not great for socks. However, this packet of Jilly yarn, lovely little point on the bottom of the sweater, absolutely convinced me otherwise, and now I love single ply. I don't avoid it. And you'll notice that the front has this little detail going down, and it is asymmetrical, so when you wear it, it's not centered. It is off-centered, as well as the point at the bottom. It's not centered. If you can see, get it all in the picture. There we go. So that was my very first sweater. I actually knit it in about 2 weeks. It was so fun to knit. It was like potato chip knitting with the stripes. So that was one of my FOs. I do have another FO sweater. I immediately cast on the Sunset Highway after that was done, and I knit that in different, what's left over from the maple. Oh well. I knit it in different skeins of Jilly, and I would show you, or not Jilly, Malabrigo, and I would show you, but it is currently on display at my local yarn store, on Knits and Pieces in Annapolis, Maryland. So I will try to hopefully maybe insert through the magic of technology, a picture here. Maybe? I don't know. If not, you can go to my Instagram, melissakplans, and you can see the picture of that there. And then I have one other FO recently done that is for my daughter. She loves rainbows, so I knit, and I haven't weaved in my ends yet because I'm crazy. After I finish this sucker, I put it down. It is a linen stitch cowl. It's just, I cast on an uneven number of stitches and then linen stitched basically until I ran out of yarn. This is in the Guatemalanness colorway, and I cannot remember the name of the dyer, but I bought it because the name of it reminded me of Agador Spartacus from the Birdcage with her Guatemalanness. So, but this beautiful, beautiful rainbow cowl will be for my 4-year-old. Once I weave in the ends, hopefully it'll be a Christmas present. So, drinking some, no, I can't know if you can read that. It says no Flax given. Day drinking with some Pinot Grigio from Flip Flop wine. It's not that great, but it's got an alcohol content, so yay. Alright, I actually don't have a ton of whips, or at least I don't consider them a ton of whips. I have a couple that are on hiatus right now, and then I have a couple active whips. But I'm going to show them all to you because kind of one of the reasons for the podcast is to stash down and to finish some of these whips, particularly the last one that I'll show you, which is the ginormous one. So I'll show you everything, and then I'll show you what I'm actually currently working on versus what's kind of in hibernation. So I'll start with the ones I'm currently working on. The first one is, some of these are, this is Cascade 220 in Superwash in this beautiful purple color. This is the Boxy in the worsted Boxy by Locatelli. I'm knitting this for myself. This will be my sweater for the office when I go to work because it's always so cold in there. So that's one project that is currently being worked on. Whenever I need, I'm on the part where it says knit 19 inches of stockinette. So it's a soul sucker right now. This is my latest slow knitting project, which should be uploaded soon, hopefully. It may be uploaded before this video. It may be uploaded after this video. I don't know. I'm having trouble uploading it for some reason. These are 2 at a time vanilla socks. And I'm not using the pattern, but I'm using the numbers on the Sunrise socks by Wendy Johnson. Basically, it was the first pattern I learned, 2 at a time toe up, and I just use it as my vanilla sock pattern go-to. I am not one of those knitters that can memorize patterns and stitch counts and do patterns from memory and just cast on from memory. That's not me. Totally not me, because I have the memory of a goldfish. The yarn is the Knitpicks. This is the special reserve they brought back, and the Colorway is Hawaiian shirt. So, and these will be for my husband because he loves hand-knit socks. Another current project for my husband. Like I said, we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary in December, and as a special surprise, I got us 3 nights at the hotel that we honeymooned at up in Tawnytown, Maryland. It's a beautiful bed and breakfast called the Antrim 1844. Amazing food, amazing bed and breakfast, amazing staff, and it's one of our favorite places to go when we can. So I'm surprising him with that because we haven't been in about 9 years. We went for our honeymoon, and then we went for our 1-year anniversary, and then we, you know, life happened. So for our anniversary present, I am knitting him this absolutely gorgeous navy and steel gray sweater. This is the Flax pattern by Tin Can Knits, and as you can see, I've already split for the sleeves, and I am once again in stockinette hell with just knitting to the base. Usually the pattern is done with a garter stitch ridge down the sleeves. I did not think that he would particularly like that, so I did not add that, and I just did plain old knit. So this is a very boring knit, but he's gonna love it. The yarn I am using is my project bag. This is from the Twisted Yarn and Fiber on Etsy, and it's cute little narwhals swimming in the ocean. My yarn is the, if I can get it out of here, it's kind of crammed full. That's the gray. This is the blue, and it's just the Tess Designer. I can't find the tag. Can't find the tag. The Tess Designer Superwash, just regular old Superwash Merino. It's really nice and smooshy. It's really nice and soft, and like a skein of it is like 500 and some odd yards, and like this is the one ball caked up. It's huge. It's like the size of my head. So massive yardage. And I just started the second one. So you can see it gets a ton of yardage. So out of one ball. These projects are all in hibernation just because I didn't really feel like knitting on them. It's also like 2,000 degrees right now because, you know, it's summer in July in Maryland. So definitely don't want to knit on too many sweaters. But speaking of sweaters, this is my Cloudy Sunday in a very, very boring navy blue. It does have sleeves already sewn up, and I'm currently working on, almost hit myself in the face with the, working on the cowl. I need to switch needles and go up a needle size. This is Knitpicks Brava. I don't know if you can, there we go, Knitpicks Brava in the Solstice Heather colorway. This is an acrylic, just 100% acrylic, 136 yards a gram for 100 grams, and it's bulky weight. So the sweater knit up pretty quickly, and it's supposed to be kind of big and oversized, so it's going to be a really, really warm sweater for those really deep, deep cold winter days. And I made it a little extra longer because I wanted to be able to wear it with leggings, because I didn't want to have to wear like heavy pants or jeans with it, because I knew this in and of itself was going to be super warm without having any extra added layers. So, and it's big, it's oversized, and it's currently in hibernation status just because even though it's so close to being done, I just haven't had the heart to pick it up because it is super, super heavy. Oh, I did forget one more pattern that I'm currently working on. This is not in hibernation. This is a sweater for my daughter. This is the Hanover pullover. So this is the one that was my very first slow knitting. So as you can see, I think this was about where I was when I started the slow knitting. So I think I'd already gotten past the ribbing and was on to stockinette. Doing some increases, but as you can see, I finished a sleeve today, and I've got a little adorable stitch marker. It's marking my first decrease. That's Calcifer from Hal's Moving Castle. Let's see if we can get him to focus. Focus. He's not gonna focus. And he's from my beloved Adora, I want to say. I'm sorry. I'll put it in the show notes. She's on Etsy. I just got a bunch from her. I actually got, let's see. I got that one. And I got my little pink hat. Because I am, in all my spare time, an intersectional feminist. And then I got a little yellow worm from her from Labyrinth. Super cute. So those are my stitch marker or progress keepers. So that's all I have left. You see this? It's just a little bit of a sweater left, or sleeve left, and then I'm done. So even though it's like 3,000 degrees out right now, and I'm sweating like a pig, I am determined to finish this because I just want it off the needles and say I have something done. Because that would be very, very exciting. So it's a little cow neck sweater. And I knit this in a size 6. And the yarn is the... somewhere. It's the Barocco Tuscan Tweed, if I remember correctly. I don't remember the colorway, but it's like a dusty rose with, you see there, it's got like flecks of like denim and some white, and then, yeah, let's see if it shows up in there. Not really, but it's really pretty. She knows I'm knitting it. She likes it. Alright, so these projects have been in timeout just because, for one reason or another. This one is in timeout. This is a sweater for my daughter. And it's a fingering weight sweater. It is the Nova. I don't have the first page to my pattern. So that's helpful. It's the Nova sweater. It's gonna look kind of like that when it's done. And it is done on 3.25 millimeter and 2.25 millimeter needles with fingering weight thread. So even though I'm knitting it in a smaller size for a child, it's still taking forever. And the reason it's in hibernation is because I just don't like the colors. I hate the colors. I really dislike the colors. My daughter picked them out, and the thing is, in the ball of yarn, they're beautiful. This is Cozy Colorworks, and I don't remember the colorways. And this is also Cozy Colorworks, just a solid teal color. And my daughter picked them out because she loves rainbow, all things rainbow, all day, every day. But I just don't like the way it's pooling. I don't like the black in it. I don't know. It's not making me happy, and so I don't like to knit on it because it doesn't make me happy. My bag does not have a name on it. I got it at no, it doesn't. It does not have a name on it. I'm so sorry. I got it at Maryland Sheep and Wool this year. It's a little Winnie the Pooh bag. Look, he's so cute. On a cold and blustery day. I got it at Maryland Sheep and Wool. I'd picked it up, and at the poop. I can't remember the name of the Cooperative Press booth. Yes. Every year they're there with all their books and their beautiful pattern collections and everything, and then they also have a bag designer that usually sits there and shares the booth with them. And I had picked this up, and she was like, nobody loves Pooh. I have brought Pooh to Maryland Sheep and Wool for 3 years now, and if you really like him, I will give him to you for 50% off. So I bought him. I brought Pooh home because I do love Winnie the Pooh, and I always say when it's windy out and it's a Wednesday, I always say Happy Wednesday to people, and nobody gets it, and that's okay. It's my own little inside joke, and I'm okay with that. But anyway, so I brought Pooh home, and inside Pooh sits the sweater that I don't like. I also bought the Cozy Colorworks yarns at Maryland Sheep and Wool, but not this year. I bought them there last year. So then I have a fingerless mitt. This is my hoe, my half object. I knit this in December, you know, when I could have used an FO. Some of my yarn is poking through from where I weaved in my ends. Nice. Okay, I'll have to fix that. It is kind of this absolutely gorgeous dusty purple and this pretty gray color. And I have another ball of the pretty gray color. It is I want to say wool. Bad wool. I'll post in the show notes the name of the wool. It's just really soft. Super soft. I think it's got a little cashmere in it. So I have one. This is the Successes pattern by Heidi Alander. And I meant to knit 2 of these because I was driving from Maryland to Orlando via Charleston in January. I was driving to Charleston to pick up my best friend, and then we were driving down to Orlando for a mommy-only trip to Disney. It was amazing. And it was in the middle of a super, 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 super cold, I guess you can't call it a cold wave, but it was like 20 degrees, not just here, but it was also 20 degrees in Charleston. So I had wanted to knit some fingerless gloves for both of us, and I just never got around to it because I was too busy sewing up some Disney inspired leggings that were number 1 on my to-do list at the time, and those actually turned out really, really well. So that's in hibernation just because it's, you know, I have second mitt syndrome. This is why I knit socks 2 at a time. My next project is a blanket, and it's going to be for my in-laws. It is the 10-stitch pattern, the 10-stitch blanket pattern, and it's the square version, obviously, not the round version. That's the back with my neat little picked up stitches. In the front. The color is Knitpicks. This is some old school Knitpicks before it went away, I think. The Felici and the Rustic Cabin colorway. That's not gonna... And it's all these grays and some rusty oranges and reds, and then there's some little bit of baby blue in it. So it's going to be for my in-laws, hopefully for Christmas, which is why I'm working on it now, but it's still in timeout. And then my last whip that is in hibernation is a project that is 5 years in the making. I keep looking down because it's down at my feet. Are you ready? So a few years ago, everybody went through the sock blankie craze, right? And I did too. Oop, I bumped my camera, sorry. I did too, only I went into a really, really particular phase of crazy. So this is one corner of my blanket at the green, but I started it at red, and let me see if I can there's no way in the world that I will get this entire blanket on camera. It's because it is no longer king sized. It kind of grew and grew and grew. So I'm gonna slowly scroll through it, sort of. So we start at the red, and we go to orange, into yellow, into green, and then that's my green, and then the blues have been started, and I've changed sides here. We're back to the green. So there are pictures of this on Ravelry. If you go to my Ravelry page and you look up the sock blanket pattern, it is probably, that's the other side. So we started here and now we're here. And you're gonna love this. All my ends have been weaved in thus far. There's a reason for that, and it is because about 2 years ago I went to a supernatural convention and I took this blanket with me. And I didn't knit on it while I was there. All my ends are weaved in. And it doesn't smell anymore, unfortunately, but it was sorry, I'm going to hold on one second. There we go. It helps if my charger cord is actually plugged in. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. First time podcasting snafus. So anyway, 2 years ago, I went to a supernatural convention, and the only thing I really did there was pay to have my picture taken with Jensen Ackles. And so there is a picture on my Ravelry page of me and Mr. Ackles wrapped in this blanket. So I didn't want my ends being all hung out and showing, because, you know, he would care. But yeah, so the blanket is met Jensen. And I have a picture of the two of us snuggled up inside of it. And it's probably second best thing I've ever done in my entire life. So, no, I hear my daughter. Yes, sweetheart. Do you want to come say hi on my podcast? Watch the wire.
Hi.
Come here.
Hello.
Say hi, people out there.
Hi.
You want to tell them what your name is?
My name's Eleanor Virginia Camerson.
And how old are you?
4.
4? You're talking like a little baby. Why are you talking like a baby? You don't talk like that. Yeah?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I'm using a new dice.
You're using a new voice? Yeah. I'm looking at my, she's fawning over my stitch markers. Okay. So, I took a break to entertain my daughter for a few minutes, so sorry about that. Before we wrap up I'll fix my camera here. There we go. Before we wrap up the podcast, I want to go over real quick the stash acquisitions that I've had recently, and also my very first giveaway. So we'll start with the stash acquisitions first. My very first, recently I went to Ohio for a little road trip to meet some online friends of mine, and I managed to sneak in 2 stops at 2 different yarn stores. The first one was a place called the Flaming Ice Cube in Ohio, and there I got this yarn called Stitches Together Rad Yarn for Rebels. I bought, actually bought 4 skeins, but one of them was for a friend. But I bought 2 skeins of this colorway called Unicorn Boogers, and a second skein called Purple Lake. And 1 skein of the Purple Lake and the Unicorn Boogers will be a striped sweater for my daughter. Eventually. And then for our 100 subscriber giveaway, so hopefully when we reach 100 subscribers, I will be giving away this skein, this beautiful skein of Unicorn Boogers. So in this podcast, in the comments below, go ahead and comment #Unicorn Boogers, and when we get to 100 subscribers, we will give this away to 1 lucky winner. It is a skein of fingering weight, 75% superwash, 25% merino. It is 463 yards on 100 grams. And again, it's this beautiful light gray base with these absolutely beautiful pops of rainbow. So one of these skeins of Unicorn Boogers will come home with a lucky contestant. And then on the way home from Ohio, I stopped in Pennsylvania somewhere. And I apologize, I don't know the direct locations of these shops. And I got my hands on my very first ever hedgehog fibers. Oh, isn't this absolutely gorgeous? This is their skinny singles in the kimono colorway, and it is 100% merino. So it is not superwash, but that's okay because it's going to be a sweater for me, and I'm okay with that. So you can absolutely see it's this beautiful blue color with these absolutely gorgeous pops of whites and rainbows. I got 3 skeins of it. I meant to buy, well, I should have bought 5 skeins because I wanted to make a flax light for myself with this. And I math terribly, terrible mather. And I only bought 3 skeins, thinking that that was enough. And it's not at all. So I'm going to have to come up with something else to knit with it for me, or stripe it with something. I didn't really want to stripe it with anything, but I could if I need to. And then I went to a local-ish yarn store to me. It's about an hour away up in Frederick, Maryland. They're called the completely blanked on the name. I want to say the Tangled Knot. I'll put it in the show notes. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot the name. That's what mommy brain does to you. Maybe it's the Tangled Skein? No, that's not it. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, I got 5 skeins of this absolutely beautiful Western Sky knits. And it is in all these different shades of grays and rust that peek through, and browns and teals. This is the one that I got that really inspired all the other colors. And it's going to be either a So Faded or a So Faded Cardi for me. I have a habit of buying sweater quantities lately because I am knitting sweaters for myself, obviously. So, no more single, I have like tons of single skeins of sock yarn that I will probably never use because they're just random single skeins of sock yarn. So I gotta figure out what to do with a lot of these. And they're beautiful. I have some really, really beautiful yarns, but they're all single skeins. So now I try to buy things with a project in mind, and that usually ends up being sweaters, since I knit sweaters for myself a lot. Or now that I know how to knit sweaters, and now that I find that I enjoy knitting sweaters for myself, I knit sweaters a lot. So I have one in progress for me, one in progress for my husband, one in progress for my daughter right now. And I have like a bajillion more planned for myself sometime soon, after I finish some of these projects up. So thank you very much for joining me on our very first talking podcast of the Knitter's Closet. We hope you come back, and we hope we get to 100 subscribers soon, because we really love, or I really love, I am not the royal we, I love the knitting community. I love being able to talk to you all and share my projects, and become a part of the knitting podcast community. Some of the knitting podcasts that I currently am watching are the Fat Squirrel Speaks. She does Fat Squirrel bags, which I would love to get my hands on, but I haven't gotten one yet. What else do I watch? I watch the Dyer Behind Woolen Vines podcast. I just started watching hers. I watch Wet Coast Wools. They're a podcast out of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. Really, really good show. And Yarn Hoarder. I love her show. Love her show. Caught up on her all completely. And then I listen to F This Knit on iTunes, and I absolutely love them because I like to drink and cuss too. So, although I won't be doing that on this show, I don't think so. But thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you soon, or I hope to see you soon. I keep saying we. Thank you for joining me on my podcast, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.